Hello. This video has been prepared to provide DET CRC's AGM with a summary of activities over the 2012-2013 year and up to the present. It's been a challenging year for the mineral exploration industry. Perhaps most noticeably, over the past financial year, the gold price has dropped from $1,600 to $1,200 per ounce. Over the same period, new CEOs have taken over at several major mining houses, including several of our sponsors, and their focus is clearly on reducing costs. It is thus critical that we continue to position DET CRC to deliver the productivity gains that will drive cost reductions. This is indeed the focus of DET CRC's research. I hope that this brief video and our clear direction moving forward will demonstrate our productivity focus. I am delighted that all of DET CRC's participants have maintained their membership despite the softening of the mining sector. Our affiliate numbers have increased to 36 during the reporting period, more than double the amount foreshadowed in the Commonwealth Agreement. Furthermore, Olympus has joined as another participant, bringing extra cash and extra in-kind support, especially to our exciting Lab at Rig analytical system project. DET CRC has employed Soren So as Project 1.1 and Programme 1 leader. Soren previously held engineering and executive positions with Nebo Drilling, Boart Longyear and AP Moller Maersk. He led the development of onshore drilling rigs for mineral exploration and very significantly for DET CRC, of coiled tubing rigs for the oil industry. I'd like to thank Gary Kavanagh, who led Programme 1 through its startup stages, and Jock Cunningham, who stepped in during the year as Programme 1 leader, for their contributions to DET CRC's Programme 1. Unfortunately, we lost Christian Dupuis, our Programme 2 leader, who left Curtin University for Laval University in his native Canada. Christian has been replaced by Brett Harris, another geophysicist from Curtin University, and we are very much appreciating Brett's insights on the executive team. DET CRC continued to have 100% of the time of David Giles of Adelaide University as Programme 3 leader during the year, and also 100% of the time of Peter Kank of Boart Longyear as Project Integrator during the year. We also employed a new administration officer, Belinda Gordon, in January 2013. I'd like to congratulate one of our former project leaders, Steve Hill, who was appointed Director of the Geological Survey of South Australia during the year. Caroline Forbes of Adelaide University took over leadership of Steve's Project 3.3. DET CRC's major performance review by the Commonwealth Government was conducted in June. The review process and panel's report were highly positive, and Review Panel Chair Peter Laver summarised the review's report, saying, "The review panel concluded that the CRC is delivering strong research outcomes and is an excellent demonstration of a well-managed collaboration that is focused on achieving results. There is a high level of end-user integration across all levels of the CRC's research activities and encouraging progress as evidenced in the CRC's commercialisation pipeline." DET CRC's core projects are currently at or near the end of their initial 3-year Phase 1 contracts. During the year, DET CRC's Science Steering Committee reviewed the progress of Phase 1 projects and considered Phase 2 funding. There was strong alignment amongst the Science Steering Committee in ranking proposals for Phase 2 funding. The overwhelming majority of voting members ranked the coiled tubing rig, the Lab at Rig analytical system and downhole sensing, along with the Bracunga Drilling Research and Training Facility, as their top projects moving forward into Phase 2. Indeed, 80% of DET CRC's cash funds will be allocated to these projects moving forward. The increased focus on key projects moving forward was also a recommendation of the Major Performance Review. Indeed, I see the coiled tubing rig, downhole sensing and Lab at Rig as the 3 key pillars of DET CRC's research platform.
DET CRC's key communication event is our annual conference. We held our 2nd annual conference, Uncovering the Future 2, in Hahndorf in November 2012. Over 180 delegates attended, half of whom were from industry or end users. In order to focus researchers and sponsors at the annual conference on the technology that will drive productivity gains, we ran the highly successful Bracunga Bazaar. The Bazaar is a trade show style exhibition showcasing commercialisable IP from DET CRC projects. We hope that you can make our third annual conference and second Brukanga Bazaar next week. We also upgraded our quarterly newsletter, Explore, to HTML format during the reporting period and hope you enjoy receiving this. Each newsletter is accompanied by a new pack of PowerPoint slides highlighting recent developments. The web-based project management system Centric is our key tool for internal technical project reporting, and during 2012 to 13, 345 documents were uploaded onto Centric, so it's a very active database. I'm delighted that DET CRC's major performance review was complimentary about our communications. It stated, DET CRC has an impressive communications program and is particularly commended on their use of multimedia technologies, including YouTube presentations. 10 videos have been added to YouTube's DET CRC TV during the year, and I particularly recommend to you the 4 brief new drill bit videos that summarise aspects of research progress. To date, DET CRC TV videos have generated over 8,000 views. Whether you're a researcher or a sponsor and you'd like to make suggestions on DET CRC's communications, please feel free to contact me.
DET CRC's education programme has been a great success. DET CRC set itself the ambitious target of enrolling 50 PhD students. That's 50 PhD projects that are just one part of DET CRC's research and training. We've now enrolled 35 PhD students, and we've had our first completion by Andrew Greenwood of Curtin University on vertical seismic profiling in the hard rock environment. DET CRC PhD students are an especially strong component of our research on several areas. Coil tubing drilling, where they work on downhole motors, cuttings transport and tubing fatigue. Also on the drilling response of impregnated diamond bits in Project 1.2. Also on seismic and hard rock research in Project 3.1. And also in the geochemistry of the cover research undertaken in Project 3.3. Beyond the direct impact of their research, industry will benefit from this supply of PhD qualified specialists with a strong industry focus. I'd like to congratulate our students from Curtin University, Mohammed Reza Kamyab, Masoud Mustafi and Amir Mokaramian, who received scholarships from Merawa in March 2013. I'm delighted to mention that the major performance review noted the PhD recruitment and handling procedures of the CRC are generally excellent and could be used as a model for future CRCs. On the vocational training side, our association with the Australian Training Alliance has seen a great increase in the utilisation of the Brukanga Drilling Research and Training Facility, through which 220 driller trainees have now passed.
DET CRC's finances paint a healthy picture. Cash receipts are $4 million ahead of the Commonwealth Agreement to this stage, due largely to contributions from new participants, income from additional grants and interest. As will be outlined in more detail in my financial report to the AGM, staff and non-staff in-kind contributions are also ahead of the Commonwealth Agreement. This reflects a strong engagement with DET CRC by its research organisations and industry sponsors, for which we are very grateful. DET CRC met 15 of its 16 scheduled Commonwealth milestones during the reporting period. To date, DET CRC has met 38 of its 39 scheduled Commonwealth milestones. I'd now like to make some comments on commercialisation. DET CRC's Intellectual Property and Commercialisation Guide has been finalised. This guide establishes the process for managing and commercialising DET CRC's IP. A commercialisation pipeline has been established and contains 51 products and services that may be offered for commercialisation. The commercialisation pipeline is updated regularly and is reviewed by the Commercialisation Committee and by the supplier participants. Finally, I'm very pleased to report that DET CRC has attained a key milestone with the offering of its autonomous gamma sonde for supplier participants to consider commercialising, and we are now in negotiations for a commercialisation agreement. The sonde will provide wireline quality measurements from drill holes without a separate wireline deployment, and is a terrific example of how our technology will improve productivity.
Our most important outcomes are those that relate to our research. I've prepared a list of what I consider the most important top 10 research outcomes for DET CRC during 2012-2013. Number 1. DET CRC's coiled tubing drill rig, commissioned in Houston. Axon's coiled tubing rig that will provide the research platform for DET CRC's flagship coiled tubing research was commissioned in Houston with rig control and other specifications aligned with DET CRC requirements. The rig has now been received in Adelaide. Number 2. Rate of penetration improves in high-speed, low-weight on bit drilling trials. Coiled tubing drilling holds the promise of faster, cheaper, safer and more environmentally friendly drilling and mineral exploration. But we will need to cut rock at low weight on bit. We've commissioned a high-speed test rig at Port Longyear's Adelaide facility, it's behind me now, where downhole motors and bits can be tested in a granite block. Results to date have provided an improvement of 300% in the rate of penetration for low weight on bit, around 500 kilos, at up to 4,000 RPM. Number 3. Pultrusion machine produces fibre composite drill rods and tubing. After initial successful testing of composite drill rods, DET CRC affiliate Tico Composites has installed a pultrusion machine that will provide DET CRC with an in-house capability for economical mass production of fibre composite conventional drill rods and coiled tubing. Carbon fibre coiled tubing may address the material fatiguing problems of conventional steel tubing. Number 4. ES diagram provides platform for real-time optimization of diamond drilling. We have validated a simple XY plot that provides a platform to optimize diamond drilling performance in real time. The ES diagram incorporates weight on bit, torque on bit, and depth of cut per revolution, and characterizes drilling efficiency. It can be used to optimize drilling performance. Data from the wireless sub that DET CRC is developing will feed directly into the ES diagram. Again, DET CRC research is about improving productivity and reducing costs. Number 5. Autonomous sonde developed and offered for commercialization. DET CRC's autonomous sonde has been further developed, including its depth calibration, and it became our first project made available for supplier participants to consider commercializing. The sonde is a key plank in the downhole measurement technology platform, which together with the top-of-hole Labbit rig analytical system will support coiled tubing drilling. Number 6. Geochemical logging, slimmer tool and through the rods. A 50mm diameter prompt gamma neutron geochemical wireline logging tool has been built. We've tested it in NQ-sized and cased HQ-sized holes. These holes were too narrow for the previous 70mm tool, and initial results from the new tool and through the rods are encouraging. Number 7. Geochemical studies vindicate routine Labbit rig analytical sampling of cover. DET CRC's coiled tubing rig, combined with associated downhole and top-of-hole sensing, will provide unprecedented geochemical data from cover rocks, often unsampled in conventional drilling. The value of such has been demonstrated in a Gawler Craton IOCG study where different elements display a series of nested, detectable halos in the cover much larger than the deposits themselves. These halos provide a systematic vector to exploration where they are routinely and rapidly sampled by Labbit rig geochemical data. Number 8. Rock powder and new procedures replace core with virtual core. XRF, XRD and hyperspectral analysis of diamond drill cuttings from DET CRC's Burkunga 1 and 2 drill holes has sharply defined rock types, alteration and ore zones and compares favourably with visual logging and conventional geochemistry conducted on drill core from the same intervals. These results strongly support the development of the Labbit rig analytical system. Number 9. IMDEX Solids Removal Unit joins Labbit rig analysis project for DET Burkunga 2. After the encouraging results from sampling rock powders from the sump in drilling DET Burkunga 1, collaboration with IMDEX has led to deployment of their solids removal unit to contain and clean the drilling fluids and improve the depth fidelity of Labbit rig analysis sampling in our second test hole, DET Burkunga 2. Burkunga also saw the deployment of a second Port Longyear rig, the multi-purpose LX12, and the commissioning of a research lab during the reporting year. Last but not least, number 10. Low cost, high-value seismic acquired at Hillside Prospect. DET CRC researchers recorded 2,575 3D seismic shots covering 1,000 metres by 400 metres across the centre of the Hillside ILCG prospect. Steeply dipping structures have been imaged and boundaries of the main lithological domains, including zones of mineralisation, recognised. Researchers estimate the commercial cost of such a survey would be $350,000 to $400,000, making it a feasible tool to complement initial drill out. There will, of course, be much more information on all of these exciting outcomes at our annual conference next week. I'd like to take the chance to thank the researchers, the sponsors, and the board of DET CRC for their support during the previous year. I think we're making terrific progress towards uncovering the future of mineral exploration.